y'all. Welcome to a brand new episode of Better with Dr. Erica. And it's so funny when that intro comes on. I usually start doing my dance, but I looked at there. I was like, and then they get a surprise. I haven't been on for a little while, and I have more hair than you're used to seeing. So, this is Dr. Erica with hair. As I just smushed my hair. Now, that's what I get. That's what I get for touching my head after the episode started because I can't. This is the reason why I can't cut my hair and hold a mirror. I have no spatial relationships when looking at myself. But enough about me. Welcome to a brand new episode of I'm about to say Better with Dr. Erica, but this is Growth Groove with Dr. Erica. I'm so excited to be back. I had to take a little time off for some self-care, but also this doctor stuff sometimes it gets really busy and I had to take a little bit of a break to recharge in the midst of doing this doctor stuff. So thanks for hanging in there. Thanks for your patience. If you don't know me, I'm your host, Dr. Erica, Harvard trained, double board certified psychiatrist and lifestyle coach. I am irrationally passionate about helping people be better, do better, and live better. I do that through my adult telepsychiatry practice. My books, including Fix Your Fairy Tale, A Woman's Guide to a Great Life, Love, and Legacy, my corporate speaking, and my hit podcast, Better with Dr. Eric. I do all of this to help busy people like you. You show up for your friends, you show up for work, you show up for school, you show up for your community, you show up for everybody, but you don't show up for yourself. I do this to help put you back in your life. Now, you might be wondering if you didn't see the intro originally, what we're talking about today. Today, we are doing Dr. Ericka Updates. So, this is going to be a little bit of time. We're going to mix in me telling you about what I've been up to since I've been offline, but also some lessons and some tips mixed in with what has been going on. So, first, a couple of housekeeping things. The first thing is you know someone that needs this, please share. If you know someone that needs this, also tag. The last thing, if you're watching it later, just tick hashtag replay in the comments and let me know you were here. You're going to see me look down because guess what? I didn't do. I didn't set on do not disturb. And I don't know if you're like me. Mother's Day just passed, and my mom has this psychic way of knowing when I'm either on screen or online with a client, and that's when she calls. So I had to put us on do not disturb because this time is all about me and you. So I think we've done the housekeeping. So let's go ahead and get us started. So, what have I been up to? Because it's been a while since we've done Growth Groove with Dr. Erica. Well, one of the biggest things is I went back on the road. A lot of you may know, or all of you that are new may not know, that I've had a long career as a traveling psychiatrist, about 18 years of it, of just kind of going around place to place all over the country, helping and taking care of people. And sometimes it's part time and sometimes it's full time. And I went on the road and I'm actually in a hospital in Tennessee working full time, switching back to traveling back and forth again and being in the hospital and stuff. I just needed a quick moment just to get my feet underneath me and to get some rest. And that's kind of first lesson is sometimes you have to listen to your body, and we all sometimes want to do all the things. There are a million things to do. I'm sure you've had the conversation of no one told us what adulting was really going to be. And then you get to be an adult and you realize adulting has way too many things and I don't want to do it anymore. But sometimes one of the big tips for me and one of the things I see and one of the things I try to practice, and it's a recurrent practice because you have to keep doing it to be good at it, is there are times where my list of things to do or things in my mind I have to do or appointments I have places I have to be, it's just too much. And there are points where I have to recognize, and where you need to recognize when you just need to make a little bit more space for yourself and possibly for rest and recovery. And that's what I recognized. And I recognized that I had stuff every night, Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, traveled on Friday, saw patients and stuff Saturday, and traveled on Sunday. And it was just a point where it was just too much. So I was like, we're going to pull back on Tuesday night just so that I can get into a routine and not be so overstressed. So the first tip is listen to your body. Sometimes you need rest. Sometimes it's just not reasonable to do all the things. And it's okay. But the first thing is recognizing when all the things is too many things. And then take action to decrease the things, because one of the big reasons why I talk about things you need to do better, and live better, and to have that longevity, because all of us want to be around a long time, but we want good quality of life, is to be able to make that space so you can take care of yourself and be rested. Because a big indicator of health and wellness is sleep. It's one of the reasons it's part of the Better Seven. You hear doctors and wellness professionals all the time talking about the importance of sleep, because that's when your body heals itself emotionally and physically, is while you sleep. And there are so many things and negative things that happen to the body when you don't get enough rest. And one of the things that happens when you have all the things is sometimes you don't get rest. And and then they always talk about this revenge procrastination thing, but also then there's the escapism of the internets and going down rabbit holes. And so for me, the other things I've done that I totally love is to be intentional. I have an alarm that goes on my phone, and it goes into do not disturb and tells me to take my butt to bed. But the other thing is, when I'm home, and I haven't figured out how to do this on the road, but when I'm home, I got this clock that has these sunshine lights, that it's a gradient of how it brightens, and it has these chimes and stuff that are really calming, so it doesn't startle you, but it gently wakes me up, and I love it. It has been wonderful, and it also allows me to, now when I'm home, my cell phone is not on the dresser. So it's one of the ways to decrease that blue light before I go to sleep, but also to decrease that urge to look at social media or even check my email or text messages first thing in the morning. So, guess that's first tip. So, I took some time to do that, and let me know what's on your mind as you come in. Just shoot some comments in here. I'd love to hear from you. And so, the first thing is, I just had to get settled to this new schedule. And if you as you get to know more about me and get to know me, is I'm one of those people that I do a wide variety of things. So my weeks do not always look the same, and things look very different. And part for me is I understand systems well, but I also have to work on my own systems. So that's where we are with that. One of the other things is, as I said, I'm back on the road, so keeping it moving, and just getting back to all of those things I do to keep healthy on the road. So making sure that I'm eating healthy. My gift to myself was, I'm now part of the Stanley Cup generation to get my water in, but Whole Foods sold it. And, Whole Foods is my downfall. I spend time at Whole Foods. So been working on drinking water, but even without a Stanley Cup, you should be drinking plenty of water. And just, it's one of the reasons why supply is one of the Better Seven, is watching what you put in your body, so as far as food and drink. And for me, that's one of the things I have to look at. I'm over 40. And as you all know, we get older and our metabolisms do very creative things. And then I'm also a woman. So, those hormones do crazy things. So I just want to encourage you. That's second set of tips, is to be mindful and intentional. I guess number 3, actually, intentional of what you put in your body, and be intentional enough that no matter what your environment is that you feel good about what you put in your body. Be it you're on the road, you have late meetings, you're working from home, you don't cook, you do cook. Just be intentional. The next thing is so we talked about I'm traveling. So one of the other things that happened when I traveled is it's conference season. So I recently went to the American Psychiatric Association meeting in New York, and one of the things I challenged myself was I was going to do something fun. So one of the coolest things, because sometimes you have these things that are first. So I had 2 firsts when I was in New York. Well, 3. One was I went to the Met. I'd never been to the Met, and there was a wonderful, if you're in New York anytime soon, I highly recommend the Black Renaissance exhibit at the Met. So I went to the Met for the first time. And one of the things is just making time, and I always talk about this, is making time for yourself to do some things that you enjoy, that you actually want to do. And for me, I knew this was going to be a busy meeting, but I wanted to do a couple of things that were for me. And I went with one of my friends who I totally love. And it's actually kind of cool. Her name is Ericka also. And we had a totally great time at the Met. And we also went to Momofuku. Now, some of you that may not know as well, I have gone down a rabbit hole of Korean dramas, which led to me eating more noodles, which I probably don't need to be eating quite so many carbs, but that's a whole nother story. But I started eating Momofuku noodles. Totally love them. They are not paying me. And when there was an opportunity to go to a Momofuku restaurant, had to go. So number 2 thing that was new. And the third is the American Psychiatric Association Foundation holds a gala, and I'd never been. And this year I went to galas, I went to all the receptions, I went to all the things. And usually sometimes people know I will disappear because I just sometimes just need my me time as much as I'm an extrovert. But I'd say the thing is you have to think of what your goals are, no matter what you're doing or what the intention is. And for me this time, I knew I wanted to enjoy some time in New York and not feel like I was constantly running. But I also knew that it was time for me to plug back into the organization and to network. And also, I felt it in my spirit to do more mentoring. So, what I did and where I went was guided by those particular intentions. So I want to encourage you that as you have meetings or events come up, that you have some clarity of what the intention is so that when you know what the intention is, you can have actions that are going to make you feel like what you did feels good and was productive in a way that matters. So for instance, if I went to some sessions, but I didn't go to any receptions, but I was trying to network, I wouldn't necessarily feel like I met all my goals. So the next is do things with intention, and that will help guide your actions. The next is talking about mentorship. So I did this coffee and conversation about the minority fellowships for the American Psychiatric Associations. And I went to some other mentorship events and met a lot of young people. And that's the other weird thing. Did you notice? Did put in the chat? Let me know. What age did you feel like you started calling people young people? Because I catch myself doing it all the time. I'm like the young people. I don't logically. I know I'm mature, but I remember when I was one of the young people. I'm not one of the young people anymore. But I digress. And one of the conversations we had about mentorship, someone asked kind of some tips. And I want to share them here because we're all at different stages professionally. And sometimes we just need reminders. Shoot, I need to talk some of this stuff to myself. So, some of the big highlights of it was number one, fast follow up. Is that when you're working with a mentor or you're connecting with someone to potentially be a mentor or even networking, is fast follow up. The next is when you're working with a mentor or even a sponsor, that if someone gives you advice or support or suggestions, that you take fast action. People want to give to people that they feel like are going to take them seriously. If you are dealing with a mentor and you don't listen to anything they say, they're probably not going to feel so invested about making more and more time for you. So I want to encourage you to take fast action. The next is to be consistent, and the next is to actually reach out and contact them. But the fun fact around reach out and contact is I encourage you to take it a step further. Ask someone how they like to be contacted. Some people are email people, some people are text people, some people are phone people, and ask them how they prefer to be contacted. And also ask, if you don't hear back, should you reach out or will they get back with you? Because, like, I personally tell people that you can message me multiple times. I'm pretty busy, and sometimes I may accidentally just miss something in my email, even though I've been unsubscribing to lists constantly. Is so I tell people you can harass me a little bit just to make sure I actually got it, but to ask. And that way you're not emailing someone that doesn't check their email as often, or you're not texting someone that doesn't like to get texts, or calling someone that doesn't like to take phone calls. So just ask. And the next is actually to listen. You have to show up, be present, and listen. No one wants to pour into someone that's looking at their cell phone and not listening, or they don't listen to a single thing you do. Nobody wants that. Everybody's busy. But it was really invigorating to spend time with some younger people that were just getting into the field, and some were even med students and were thinking about specialties. Some were early career psychiatrists, some were residents, some were fellows. But just talking to different people, because one of the things that's so important, especially for what I do, but I know it's important for a lot of different fields, is we need quality people doing this work. Um, People are struggling. It's been rough. And mental health is one of the foundations to quality of life. And the old statistics were about 1 in 5 adults have experienced some type of mental health issue. But honestly, at this rate, I really suspect that that's an underreport, especially after all the consequences of the pandemic. So I've been doing mentorship. I recently attended graduation. I haven't been to a graduation in forever. Um, but it was so invigorating. And, kind of the thing from that is not only was it a quick trip and I went somewhere I'd never been before, so that was kind of cool, but just seeing the fellowship and the sisterhood of all of the friends of my friend that graduated. And congratulations, Dr. Diane Johnson. But, the thing I want to encourage you about the experience of graduations is being there to celebrate moments that sometimes we can't physically be places because there's just a lot going on. But I want to encourage us to celebrate your wins, celebrate your small wins, celebrate your big wins, and to embrace community in some of these celebrations. And it could be something as small as getting together over coffee when someone accomplishes something, to having a party. But I just want to encourage the community of the collective win and how much energy it can pour into you. But the other thing is, a lot of times people want to celebrate you, but if you don't tell them what's going on or any deeds, we can't celebrate you. And I want to be able to celebrate you, and I know your friends and your family want to celebrate you. So I want to make sure that don't hide the wins, and we don't have to just wait till graduations. Don't hide the wins. The next is, it's really important. One of the foundational values that my parents have taught me is to be present. So recently, my father popped up in Atlanta without telling me. I wasn't even working in Atlanta. And we surprised him for his birthday, and he had no idea I was going to come because I called him from Tennessee during the day at work and then drove back. Made a little tired because I went back and forth so many times that week, but it was worth it seeing the smile on his face. But to me, the life lesson is there's no substitute for being present. I know sometimes you can't, but when you can, just do it. And when you can be present, be truly present, which is different than just be there. Be present. A lot of these relationships, community and communication and relationship is so powerful when it comes to supporting your mental health and helping you feel good, that I don't want you to lose out on those opportunities. And not only building relationships is just feels good and it's nice to have people there for you, is these are people that can be there to celebrate you. These are people that can be there to support you when you have challenges. These are people that can be there if something happens and you don't know what to do, or you just need a resource that can be there for you. These are people that are just gonna be there to smile at you when you need it, a hug when you need it. But the thing is good relationships don't happen with no effort. You have to be present and invest in them, especially as adults. The last is, I was home for a few days and it felt like Dr. Palooza. I always talk to you, and I've mentioned it on other times, about what is it? Having a wellness team and having all those people that are there for your wellness. So for me, I have a chiropractor, I have an energy person, I have a Reiki person, I'm an acupuncturist, but I haven't seen her in a while. I have an OBGYN, I have a dentist, I have a primary care provider, I have a naturopathic physician. I have lots of people. Lots of people. You may not have so many people, you may have more people, depends on what's going on with you. But I want to encourage you that this is a great time. We're going into summer. Sometimes people have a little bit of time off. That this is a great time to do an audit to make sure that all of your health maintenance is done from your physical, because you don't want to know how many times I talk to people and found out they don't have a primary care doctor or have not had a physical in forever. Make sure you're doing your physicals, your screening labs. If you're male, your prostate tests. If you're female, your well woman exams, your mammograms. If you're of a certain age, your colonoscopy. Make sure your teeth are getting cleaned multiple times a year. Also, the other thing is, I had a wonderful experience at the dermatologist. Oh my gosh, it was like someone did Reiki but did derm and did a skin check. But get your skin check. Come on. And part of the reason I'm mentioning this isn't necessarily fully embedded in communities of color like it is in some not less melanated communities where people have a culture of being used to dealing with skin cancer and those kinds of things. So they go do these things. I want to make sure all of us are doing these things. Let me tell you, my derm, she checked my hair, she looked in my scalp, she looked everywhere, head to toe. But I want to make sure that you get high quality care that you need too. So, that's one of the things that's huge, and just making sure that whoever's on your team, and I'm also a fan of everyone having a therapist at least. Um, for this question, there are some neurologists that do it. The thing about it is ADHD sits in a variety of houses, so a variety of people will diagnose it. You typically don't see as much adult primary care doing diagnoses of ADHD. Peds does it a lot. Family practice does it a lot with younger people. Psychiatry does it. It does sometimes fall with neurology, but it just depends on who you're dealing with of whether or not that's something that they're going to treat, or if they'll treat it. Sometimes people will treat it in the context of other things. So you would just have to ask. That is an excellent question. Um, and I think also now, with the advent of some other treatments and functional and integrative medicine, that there's a wider variety of people treating it. Now that there's a larger amount of potential um, interventions other than just stimulants. So I just want to encourage you to do all these things, because one of the things that's just so hard is a lot of the people I work with and I'm talking to and I wrote my book for are just really busy people. And you're so busy taking care of everyone else, so busy taking care of your job. You're so busy prioritizing everything but you, that you don't take care of these things. And I won't lie, I wish it was easier. I wish the healthcare system wasn't so convoluted. I wish health insurance wasn't so convoluted. I won't tell you how much time it took going back and forth in my health insurance online situation that does not search well, trying to find an OBGYN that was covered by my insurance and someplace to do this colonoscopy. Pain in the butt. But I want to encourage you and tell you that you are worth the time, because taking care of your health sets you up to not only feel better physically and emotionally, but it sets you up to be able to live well longer. And at the end, that's what you want to do. I want you to live well. So I just want to pop in and give a quick update. I didn't mean to be on this long, so I'm going to start cutting this off, because I'm not trying to do 30 minutes of chatting right now. I want you to be able to get on with your day. But I'm so excited to have you here again. I am your host, Dr. Ericka, Harvard trained board certified psychiatrist, and all the things, and podcast host. I'm rationally passionate about helping you be better, do better, and live better. I do that through my adult telepsychiatry practice, which is goodwinmed.com, that you see below. My books, including Fix Your Fairy Tale, A Woman's Guide to a Great Life, Love, and Legacy. My podcast, which is Better with Dr. Ericka, and my speaking. I do all of this to help busy people like you that show up for work. You show up for your friends, you show up for community, you show up for everybody but yourself. I do this to help put you back in your life. Again, thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. You can find me here on Tuesdays. I am back. As I said before, you start missing me, you can check out the podcast, Better with Dr. Eric, on all podcast platforms, scrolling below. The other thing is, if you want to be my patient, just check out goodwinmed.com. You'll get some information and set up a consultation. Again, I just want to give you big hugs. Take your left arm, put it on your right hand. Oh gosh, left hand, right arm, right hand, left arm, squeeze, because you deserve some love, and I'm passing it through to you on the airwaves. I look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you so much for showing up for me, and thanks even more for showing up for yourself. Until next time, have a better day.